Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's dive right on in. Now, before I continue forward, please forgive, there's some construction going on outside, so if you hear that noise, my apologies. I'll do my best to edit it out, so if you don't hear it, then I did a good job. If you do hear it, I did a horrible job, so forgive me on that. But let's go ahead and dive into our first game news topic of the day. That is Bleach Rebirth of Souls gameplay trailer. So this is my first time seeing the gameplay for Bleach Rebirth of Souls, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a typical anime style video game. I really get interested in why video game adaptations have a particular gameplay style, at least for me. This seems like the Naruto games and a little bit of the Budokai type games, and I don't know. It feels like there's a stigma to them. I felt like a Bleach game can somewhat be like a Souls esque type game and stuff like that. So I was hoping that that's something it would be. But I really haven't looked much into this game. This is the first time I've seen the gameplay, but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like it'll be nice, some multiplayer games, and you get to play as these really cool, powerful characters. But one thing I do have a question about: a lot of the gameplay and story aspects that they showed us were kind of the first, one of the first two arcs of Bleach, I think, and I'm not seeing much of the newer Bleach stuff. So I'm very curious if they're gonna hold that off for DLC. What I mean by the new stuff is the was it 1,000 Year Blood War arc. I'm not seeing much of that. And as far as this gameplay, it looks like at the end that they were gonna have a DLC for or possibly a Game Pass. So I'm thinking that's where that content would be, kind of how Sparking Zero did that for Daima characters. But yeah, I'm curious what they're gonna do with that. If this is even telling a linear story, I really don't know much about this game. I should probably look more into it before I talk about it. But I just going based off what I've seen from the gameplay trailer. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm gonna be happy to play as my favorite character, Kenpachi Zaraki, when I get this game. If I get this game, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited for this Bleach Rebirth of Souls game? Were you hoping for something a little different? Is this your first time seeing the gameplay as well? Let me know what you guys think. On to topic number two. So, if you don't remember, I want to say a couple days ago we went over the March game releases, and one of those games was Killing Floor 3. So, the news topic now is Killing Floor 3 release date is now delayed. It was originally supposed to come out on March 25th, but it looks like it's been pushed to late 2025. This is really typical when it comes to certain games being pushed. Games getting pushed is very commonplace in the game industry, so it's something us as gamers are used to. However, I'm very curious as to why this got pushed so late into 2025 when it was supposed to come out so early. There must have been something really disappointing or some major issues going on behind the scenes that we're not sure about. I haven't seen this happen before. I think there probably was a review with the higher ups, and maybe they're having some crashes or some bugs that were found by QA that are just very important and they need the time to fix it, or possibly they want to make a gameplay change. So, yeah, being pushed another probably 9 months before it's released, who knows, but being pushed this long means that they're going to make a significant change to this game, and I'm very curious as to what that was and what that's going to be. From the article I read, I don't see much details as to why, but it's the typical what the studio always says, making sure that the game's in a proper state before we release it and stuff like that. But for them to push this game when it's supposed to come out in about 20 days is kind of not per normal, at least from what I've seen. I've been in the game industry for 10 years, and this is not normal unless some major changes are going to happen, and I'm assuming that's going to be the case. Right now the studio's been since the release, I'm sure, since the past month, actually, probably since February, the studio's been on crunch time. If you don't know what crunch time is, it's when a studio's about to release a game, and a lot of people are putting in overtime and putting in a lot of hours and a lot of work to make sure that the game's in the state where it needs to be. So for them to be on crunch time for the past month or so and then to push it at the end, something definitely big is going on with that. But yeah, well, let me know what you guys think. Are you sad that you're not going to see Killing Floor till later on this year? Were you looking forward to it? I personally haven't played a Killing Floor game, but after seeing this gameplay, I'm pretty interested. So I might have to check out the first two before I play the third one. Not saying that I'm gonna play them all the way through, but I do want to check out some of the gameplay and check it out. On to our next topic, Assassin's Creed official dual path. So this was kind of like a gameplay overview trailer ish or experience. Someone's narrating over the gameplay, and I mean, I maybe he's playing it, but from I got it seemed pretty scripted. Like he was just reading along a script as the gameplay was going. It didn't seem very fluid or natural as someone would do like on Twitch or anything. But anyways, so yeah, the gameplay looks typical for a Assassin's Creed game. I've really fell off on Assassin's Creed, and I think for me, this little demo that they showed is an example why I fell off. I just don't feel, I don't feel like an assassin anymore. I just feel like a samurai. I feel like a ninja. It doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed. You don't feel like you're dealing with the Templars and all that stuff no more. And that's how I felt with Valhalla. That's how I felt with Odyssey and all these other ones that they've released. It just really expanded to a point where I didn't like it. And it's sad to say, but it just seems like a typical open world game with a big name on it. It doesn't seem like an Assassin's Creed esque game. But that's just me. Maybe I'm being picky. In particular, Assassin's Creed 3 was probably the last one I really, really enjoyed the most. I did play Unity and Syndicate, but after that, it was just whatever. So that's kind of how I feel about this game and this gameplay. Something I'm very not excited for. I probably won't be checking this game out. But then again, my lady is a big fan of the Assassin's Creed games. She played Valhalla, she played Odyssey, and I think she played Origins as well. I think she just likes being in these worlds and stuff. But right now, she's in Monster Hunter Wild. So until she beats that, so we'll see what happens when Assassin's Creed comes out. But we'll probably be getting that for her, and maybe I'll have to check it out for myself while I do that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are you excited for this Assassin's Creed game? Did you enjoy this gameplay trailer or gameplay overview? Let me know what you guys think. Oh, also, if you're interested, it will be in the description down below. I try to do my best to have descriptions to articles, YouTube videos, and all that stuff in the description so you guys know where to get a lot of this content. And sometimes I'm not able to follow through on all of it, but I'll do my best to provide what I can. On to topic number 4. How long is Split Fiction? So, Split Fiction, if you haven't heard, it's one of my most anticipated games coming this month. It's a really good game from what I'm seeing, coming from a really great studio, and I really look forward to playing it. And so, some articles have come out about how long the gameplay is going to be for this game, and it's looking like a very typical, single player experience, coming in around the 12 to 16 hour mark. 12 hours to do the main story, no side missions and things like that, and about 16 hours to 100% the game, which is really good. For me, that's perfect for the price point of what this game is going to be. I usually love games that I can finish within 16 hours and get it all complete, spend a weekend, get it all done, and not have to worry about it again. Those are the type of games that I kind of enjoy, and then going back and playing it with my lady or my brother, depending on what day of the week it is, to enjoy some of the gameplay with each other. But yeah, this seems very typical for a game, and I'm very happy. I think it's probably about just as long, if not a little longer, than their last game, It Takes Two. So yeah, what do you guys think? Are you happy that this game is going to be about 16 hours? Are you hoping for more content? Me personally, I think this is just about right. I think it's the sweet spot for these type of games. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. On to our last game topic of the day. Death Stranding 2 Collector's Edition price has leaked. Now, I don't know what exactly is going to be included in the Collector's Edition from what I read. I did skim this article, I didn't read the whole thing, but from what I read, there's nothing really describing what is going to be in the Collector's Edition of this game. But it looks like the price point for the Collector's Edition will be $230 or $229.99. You know how that goes. And the standard edition is looking to be $69.99 or $70. So, yeah, this is very typical for standard editions and collector's edition. I'm sure there'll be a special edition as well, indicating what extra add-ons you're going to get for the game, for DLC and season passes and all that crazy shenanigans that the game industry got going on. But yeah, I think this is very typical. Nothing surprising here. Very per the norm. I'm curious as to why this was a leak as opposed to just an announcement. If you don't know, some studios tend to leak information. So the way I would break it down as far as leaks are concerned for video games and movies, I would say for the lower leaks, lower rumors, I'd say it's about 80-20, 80% that it's made up, 20% that it's true. For the middle of the tier rumors, I'd say it's about 80-20, with 80% being from the studios, 20% being from made up stuff. And then for the big rumors, like big gigantic leaks, like kind of like what happened with The Last of Us, I'd say that one's about 60-40. 60% being people actually. Oh no, I'm sorry, that'd be more like 90-10. My apologies, I was off on that one. That would be like more like 90-10, where the big major leaks like that, 90% is coming from made up stuff no one knows information, and then 10% comes from employees that are pissed off and want to release and do other things like that. So yeah, it all varies per game and per release and per leak of information. But yeah, that's generally how I kind of break it down. So take every rumor you hear, every leak you hear with a grain of salt, no matter what, because there's just a certain percentage. At the end of the day, the truth is everything's 50-50. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Moving on to movie news. Ready or Not sequel adds Kathryn Newton to the cast. So if you don't know who this is, she's the lady that was in the movie, was it Lisa Frankenstein? She was also in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. She played Ant-Man's daughter. She's a fine actress. I think she's good at what she does. But she's going to be, I think, heading the Ready or Not sequel. I think the original actress for the first Ready or Not film was Samara Weaving, and I believe she's returning for this sequel as well. So I'm not sure if they're going to be focusing on Kathryn Newton's character and then Samara Weaving is going to be like a side character, or if she's just being cast as in this movie as a supporting character for Samara Weaving's character. But I did enjoy the first Ready or Not. If you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend it. The ending has a really nice, cool, fun twist in it. So I'm really looking forward to this sequel, and I think adding good talent is not a bad thing. She seems like a talented actress. I've enjoyed some of her movies, and she seems to act good in them. She hasn't been in the best projects, but I think she's a fine actress. Moving on to topic number 2, I got a chance to head to the theater yesterday, and I got to see Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho, starring Robert Pattinson, and this movie was okay. It wasn't like the biggest, greatest movie I've ever seen. Kind of like Bong Joon-ho's direct Oscar-winning film Parasite was one of the crazy great movies that have been coming out over the past years. I've really enjoyed that movie. So yeah, nothing of that sort with this movie. It was kind of middle of the road movie. Surprisingly, the stuff going on in this movie, I'm going to try to talk about this without getting into too much spoilers. But, there's two kind of storylines going on in this movie. One with the planet that they land on and some aliens. You kind of see this in the trailer, so not too big of a spoiler. That story was a lot more interesting than the political mumbo jumbo that was going on the ship that kind of got over the top ridiculous and a bit boring and a bit like, oh god, can we just move on and get back to the alien story? At least that's how I felt, which is sad because the majority of the movie takes place on the ship with these characters. There are some funny scenes, there's some interesting things going on with the characters, and you get to enjoy some laughs here and there, but overall I wouldn't say it's the best movie. I would give this a 6 out of 10. But, a lot of people with their grading scales, before you judge my grading scale, for me, a 5 out of 5 movie is literally middle of the road. Like, it's not a good movie, it's not a bad movie. It's an okay movie. And a good example of 5 out of 5, I'd have to get a list together, but I can't think of any right now off the top of my head. But yeah, they're just movies that you sit there and you can enjoy, and they're movies that it won't bother you if they're on. That's how I consider a 5 out of 5 movie. Sevens are like I'll rewatch it a bunch of times. But yeah, this movie I'd give a 6 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't mind seeing it again if like my brother wanted to go watch it or anything like that. But it's not a movie that for me myself I'd want to go see. So yeah, have you guys seen Mickey 17? Did you enjoy it more than I did? Is it a movie that what would you rate the movie out of 1 to 10? And try to give it an honest number. You know, it doesn't have to be a 1 just because it's a 5. You know. Anyways, moving on. Disney cancels Snow White premiere. So yesterday we talked about how the tracking for Snow White is not looking so well. It's going down over this past month from like 70 to 80 million to like 48 million. So yeah, it looks like it's going down so bad, and there's a lot of backlash. This article was talking about a lot of woke mentality and all that stuff. I really don't want to get into that political mumbo jumbo. I just want to talk movies and games here. So, but when it comes to this Snow White game, there seems to be a lot of political issues going on with it. A lot of issues with Rachel Zegler, her as a person, people not enjoying her. Even issues with Gal Gadot. You know, she's an Israeli actress, so I'm sure the people that support Palestine won't want to support this movie because she's in it. And then Rachel Zegler supporting Palestine, so I'm sure people that support the Israeli side won't want to see this because she's supporting Palestine. So it's just it's a whole big mess going on with this movie overall. So initially the problem was how Rachel Zegler was talking about the original, and it's all over the internet, so go look it up yourself. But she was just knocking on the original, and people didn't like that aspect of it. And now it's become more of a political issue where actresses are pinned head to head against each other, and I'm sure that they're upset with each other because Gal Gadot is Israeli, and I'm sure she's upset with her co-star from some of the posts that she's said regarding the Palestinians and the Israelis and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really sad, and I think Disney's just trying their best to uh, recover what they got. If you can save money from doing a premiere in the UK, why not? At this point, they know they're probably gonna have a losing streak with this movie, so why bother with it? But yeah, moving on to our next topic. Oh, this one, Jesus. Okay, forgive me. So the CW has had a leaked trailer. The CW's canceled Powerpuff live action series trailer was leaked, and oh my god, I'm so happy this was canceled. Oh god, if you don't know who the Powerpuff Girls are, you're probably out of my age range or lower than my age range. But it was a big series when we were kids, something that a lot of us enjoyed watching. Me and my brother used to enjoy it when we were children, and I found it. Okay, so the article I linked down below is just the article talking about the trailer. It's very hard to find this leaked trailer. If you haven't found it, I'm sure you can Google it and find it somewhere. I'm not going to put an illegal site on here so you could watch it. That's up to you guys to figure that out. But this was probably the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying a lot because I've seen some pretty dog crap movies and I've seen some pretty dog crap trailers. And wow, I can't believe this was even a thing. I can't believe this was filmed. Like, holy hell. I'm going to break it down for you, spoilers and all, because this ain't even going to be released, thank God. So, it looks like the Powerpuff Girls have grown up. The TV cartoon series was just a show that for kids that was in this universe. And Jojo's not a monkey. They're two separate characters. You got Mojo, which is the dad, and Jojo, which is the son. And Bubbles is in Hollywood. I'm not sure if she's a prostitute trying to sell stuff out of her trunk, but she's very inappropriate. She's a drunken alcoholic. Buttercup is like a activist for sex rights and things like that, and she becomes a firefighter at some point. And then Blossom is just has anxiety issues and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I guess they just try to age up the characters somehow. But a lot of the things we're seeing, the graphics were horrible. Everything just looked very, very bad. The acting looked horrible. I think the actors, the actresses in this were doing the best that they could with the material they got, but I think it was better for all their careers that this was not released. So I'm sure that they're all happy that this got canceled and will never see the light of day, hopefully. And I'm sure that they're very sad that this trailer got to see the light of day, because what a horrible, horrible trailer. The trailer ends with poor fucking Bubbles saying that those are nice. That's a good boner to have, or something like that. Someone says along the lines of he has a hate boner for you, and she says, "Oh, those are the best kind of boners." Like, what the hell's happening? Why would you do that to our beloved Powerpuff Girls? Like, oh my god, it was just the most ridiculous thing. And I'm not one to hate on everything, but damn, this was just really bad. I hope you guys get a chance to watch this and just see it for yourself. I can't believe they did this to our character, to our Powerpuff Girls, and thank God this got canceled, because if this got released and then was popular, I would have been a very sad person that this is even a thing. So, yeah, thank God that this got canceled. But yeah, moving on to our last topic of the day. Marvel Studios, Avengers Doomsday, and Secret Wars concept art has been leaked. If you haven't seen, I have an article down below that kind of shows some of the concept art. So I'll kind of break it down for you guys a bit as I go along here. So forgive the clicking that you might hear from my keyboard. But we have our first look at what Doctor Doom may look like. Now, mind you, like I said about rumors earlier, take everything with a grain of salt. At this point, this is about a 50-50. It could be actual leak. It could just be fan art. Who knows? But let's talk about it as if it was real. If this is our first look at God Emperor Doom, or Doom just from Doomsday, I think this concept art is awesome. It's how Doom looks in the comics, if not better. He looks menacing. He looks like he's sitting on his throne, and just great. There's also another image of him on his throne with, I think, is Doctor Strange, someone kneeling before him with a chain, with handcuffed and chained. It looks like there's a queen standing next to him with a kid that could be in a different alternate version of Invisible Woman. And Franklin Richards, if you don't know who Franklin Richards is that's the son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four. And yeah, this just looks good. If this is anything of so what we're going to see in the movie, count me in as very excited. There's also an image of White Vision with Star-Lord sitting on a couch watching movies, it looks like. We have an image of Hulk. I think that's Hulk's son. And then his aunt, She-Hulk. And then it looks like a whole village of other Hulks behind them. And this might be from Secret Wars, the section for the Hulks and stuff. We also have a picture of Wong, Star-Lord, and all the Young Avengers, Miss Fantastic, Wanda's kids, Ant-Man's daughter, Hawkeye's, the Hawkeye girl, I can't remember her name, Kate Bishop. Yeah, and so that looks interesting. We have also an image of what looks like to be Black Panther. Now, this Black Panther image supposedly looks like an actor. I don't know who the actor is. I haven't had a chance to look him up, but this image looks cool as hell as well. That could be the Black Panther section of the world. We have some other art of someone being chained up. And yeah, I think there were some other ones for the Fantastic Four that were released as well. But I don't see those here, so we'll talk about these ones in particular. Now, I personally think this... So from what I heard, this leak comes from a senior artist at Marvel that was uploading some images to show his portfolio or something of that sort. And he may have clicked on the wrong file or something and released that. Now, I think Marvel Studios possibly did release this, in my personal opinion. And the reason I think that is it changes the narrative. Right now, everyone's kind of talking about Captain America, Brave New World, and it's not doing as, success. It's not being as successful as they would have liked. So I think this kind of changes the narrative, gets people excited to what's to come for the MCU. We have Daredevil dropping. That's already changed the narrative because the first 2 episodes are great. And now I think this is going to change the narrative forward. So people look forward to Doomsday and Secret Wars. Because as I said in our previous episode, there's not really much leading up to that. We only got Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts. So there's still a lot that they need to do to set us up for Doomsday. I'm sure they can in a good way. As any story can be told in a good amount in 2.5 hours and be really great. So we'll see what they end up doing with that. But this concept art has got me very excited. Again, I have a link for that in the description down below. And I'm just loving the way Doom looks, and I'm very excited to see what Robert Downey Jr. does differently from Tony Stark. It's going to be nice to see him act different and be a different character in that universe, and nice to see our heroes come to a familiar face and have to fight against him. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Truly Odd Podcast. So thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. And until then, remember, stay true and be odd.